Thank you so much to the good gentleman from Texas. And I have to tell you, Jared, that you spoke about, I met his aunt and uncle a few years ago, and he suffered a death that is too much to think about. And suffering it, him being an American citizen, born here free, and being murdered like he was by illegal aliens, criminals, animals, is just too much to bear. This is the people's house. This is the House of Representatives that I've started to call the House of Hypocrites. This entire campus right now is surrounded by a border wall with razor wire. It's a fence unlike anything at our southern border. This place is surrounded by the military. It is completely guarded, but we don't extend the same thing to the American people. Joe Biden administration, my Democrat colleagues here in Congress, Democrats in the Senate, they want the border ripped wide open, and that's what it is right now. I just watched a video that was shared this morning from Southeast Texas, where there are hundreds, perhaps thousands of people lined up to cross the Rio Grande, and they are being smuggled into our country by human traffickers. You see, it's big business to come into our country illegally. And Joe Biden is rewarding the smugglers, the coyotes, the cartels in Mexico and these other countries by opening our borders up and welcoming them all in, while they're forcing our kids to stay home and paying off these teacher union bosses. They have wide open 100% capacity in-person teaching for illegal children. What kind of country is this that rewards people that break into our country illegally, but yet abuses its citizens and taxpayers? There needs to be a change. And this is Joe Biden's crisis that he will never recover from. People are not stupid, no matter if they vote one party or the other. But the American people are going to be sick and tired of being run over and treated this way. Everybody wants to cry about COVID-19, the most politicized virus, a political tool that shut down America. Well, let me tell you something. All these people that I just watched on this video, they're not wearing masks like we're required to do. They're bringing all kinds of diseases into our country, but yet they're being welcomed in. Here, come to school. Here's a bus ride to another city. Come on in. Yet America is still not fully open because of COVID-19. There's so many reasons that we can call this the House of Hypocrites that we could be here all day long, but I appreciate the time. Thank you so much, and I yield back.
Well, I appreciate the gentlelady from Georgia coming down and joining us in this conversation, and I did not realize that the gentlelady had the pleasure of meeting with and getting to know the Vargas family, or at least maybe the aunt and uncle, I think is what you said. And what I would tell you is that it is a truly wonderful family. They embody all that is right and good about the American dream, about opportunity. These are American citizens who happen to have, Hispanic family members, and which so ironic because, those of us who really try to take and honor the idea of judging people by the content of their character and not their skin color or race or creed, I find it ironic that my colleagues on the other side of the aisle seem to only view the purpose of the legislative body to view human beings by the color of their skin, and to make all of our policies based on segmenting us out. To quote the Supreme Court and John Roberts in a seminal Supreme Court case, that divvying us up by race is a sordid business. And my colleagues on the other side of the aisle often use words like voter suppression when we talk about believing we should have voter identification, believing we should have rules in place about how we run our election systems, heaven forbid. And would the gentlelady agree that too often those words, like voter suppression, are code words, buzzwords, for the allegation that those of us who believe a secure border is better for immigrants and American citizens, believe that voter ID and systems that make sure American citizens are the ones voting, that we are labeled bigots, and that words like voter suppression are code word and buzzwords, dog whistles, that we are bigots, and that the agenda of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle is often directed in that to label us such. Would the gentlelady agree with that?
I definitely agree with the good gentleman from Texas. You see, it's unfortunate that our colleagues on the other side of the aisle use race as a tool to push their agenda. We're here in this country, every single one of us are equal. God created us equal, and thank God we have a Constitution that affirms it. And if we are to do anything, we should look as Americans as one, because we're the citizens of this nation, and all of our policies and laws should serve our American people, not divided up by identity or politics or any other category. And it's shameful that we've come to a place after we had come so far and achieved so much. And so, yes, I do agree with you, and it needs to be done away with.
A brief moment, a sidestep away from the issue of border security, and I know the gentleman is here and is waiting, he's patient, and I would just ask one more question. The gentlelady was here on Monday, this past Monday, when we let known our desire to not allow 13 bills, 10 Democrat bills, 3 Republican bills, to move off of the House floor by voice vote. That is, without a roll call vote. And you would have thought that we, lit a match on the floor of the House of Representatives or had done something extraordinary to just break this hallowed institution from its smooth operations of today. You would think that we were, upending our Constitution as we know it, because we, believe it or not, we demanded the yeas and nays, a roll call vote on 13 bills. And the gentlelady is often taken to using motions to adjourn. And I believe I've heard she's done so, and the gentlelady has stipulated she's done so to force another hour of consideration when we have a bill like the $1.9 trillion monstrosity that reshapes the American economy, reshapes the American healthcare system, funds money for people in prison, upends our entire fiscal stability. I could go on and on. Is the gentlelady in agreement with me that what we're trying to do is to simply notice our colleagues that perhaps the People's House should debate, vote, amend, be present, not vote by proxy from your home districts.
Right.
Actually be here, not have fences with razor wire, actually do our job, actually represent the people that elect us to come here. Would the gentlelady agree with that?
I absolutely agree with the good gentleman. This is a place where we're sent to do a job for the people of our district. We should be able to vote on record and not have to hide behind a voice vote. We should be able to call for a motion to adjourn to give everyone pause and thought before they vote for such crucial, critical, radical, transforming legislation. I absolutely, fully agree with the good gentleman from Texas. Congress is a place where people should be working just as our regular American citizens are working 12-hour shifts, working in factories, working on job sites, paving roads, working in restaurants, serving us when we go to eat. This is absolutely a place where we should work, where we should be able to use tools to represent our districts and not have rules changed here in the People's House to stop us from being able to use good measures for everyone in Congress to vote, be on record, and do their job that they've been elected to do. Thank you.
I think